Hey, it's JP from the Junkies. Football season is finally back, and BetQL is ready to help you win more consistently this year. BetQL is an absolute game changer if you're looking to find trends to help you win. Make smarter bets on spreads, totals, player props, and more. BetQL has already helped over 300,000 people with powerful analytics and community insights. Don't fumble away your cash this football season. Visit BetQL.com for their free daily analysis today. That's BetQL.com.
If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, consider that CPAPs were invented in 1980. Do you even remember 1980? Everyone's house had one telephone. There were like 4 TV channels. Now, for people who struggle with CPAP, there's Inspire. Inspire treats sleep apnea inside your body at the click of a remote. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Stand by for an urgent bulletin.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Here's what I've noticed about the three-man booth. Now, I like it. When the three-man booth comes about, Jeff is so threatened.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Jeff Lutz.
Do you know how many times I've felt threatened in my life? Every time we've done the three-man booth, minus every time that we've done the three-man booth, and you've got your answer.
So never.
Never.
Nature versus nurture. Nature always wins.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
This is a sports show. I'm looking up stuff. I just wanted to jump in and be part of the conversation, boys.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
It is going to be incredible. Wait for it. And I hope you're hungry because the second half of this word is edible. Incredible.
Hello again, everybody. It is a Friday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. We welcome in Jason Duda, the three-man booth on a Friday. Max Power producing engineering, Jeff Lutz co-hosting, and Bob Lutz in the captain's chair. Once again, Jeff arrived early at the house today.
How early was early?
About 1.
Whoa! A little before.
Whoa!
Came downstairs, started to sleep, and sounded like a B-52 coming through here.
Shut up. You know I don't snore that much, and I didn't snore that much today.
How do you know?
Because I just
He did.
know.
It's
I
okay.
sleep at home all the time. My wife says I don't snore, so I don't think I snore. And I doubt I snored much. I probably did a couple times, briefly, and that's cool. Whatever you want to think.
It's whatever. I mean, it just is. It's not anything I'm not accusing you of anything.
I mean, I just think that's probably what it was. I did it a couple times briefly.
I mean, don't worry about it. I thought a tree was falling on the house at one point.
Well, there is a part of your tree fell down outside.
Really?
Yeah, you got a couple. Well, there's one decent little branch down.
That happens all the time.
Does it?
For those of us who have trees in our
I
yard.
guess I shouldn't be parking right there. It's probably a bad spot.
You guys want to just handle this today and I'll head out or
What's the problem?
go back to sleep?
What is the problem?
I got no problem.
Well, you don't ever want to sleep right before a radio show.
Well, I want to sleep all the time.
What do you make of that, dudes?
I'm kind of with them. I like to sleep, too.
You do like to sleep.
I like to sleep.
Well, I mean, everybody kind of likes to sleep, but there's a time and a place.
There is, but some days you just need to have a nap.
No question.
Like, naps are fantastic. Naps are one of the greatest things ever.
I tell my wife all the time, I think I sleep better during the day than I do at night. Those chances I get to sleep during the day, I just sleep like a baby.
Sleep hard. Just out.
Night, it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
Especially in the day when you don't have to do anything. Like today I had to wake up after 40 minutes or so. Tomorrow when I take a nap, oh my goodness gracious. It'll be absolutely glorious.
How long
will the nap last?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be anywhere from an hour to 3.
3 hours?
It could be. I don't know. It could be 3 hours. It could just be a perpetual nap all day. I'll wake up for 20 minutes, grab some lunch, go back to sleep. It's just
What kind of a life is that?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
I don't get it.
Duda, do you get it?
Well, I get it. I'd like to be able to do it, but I don't seem to have that much time, Jeff. I
Yeah,
can't seem
for
to
a guy who's
for a 3-hour nap.
Well, what time do you not have?
Well, he's got 2 kids. He's following around.
Okay, well, my kids are self-sufficient.
Well, your kid's not.
Shannon and Aaron, they're both
But
self-sufficient.
these kids are self-sufficient. They're just playing sports.
Okay, well, my kid is not playing sports.
Right.
You have a lot more time.
And if she was, sorry, I got a nap.
Yesterday,
That's exactly what you
there
tell
you go.
her.
That's it. Yesterday, noon to 9, I was watching sports with the kid, driving to Salina, driving back. No nap.
No nap
How'd
yesterday.
it go in
No nap.
Salina?
Pretty good. Mays ended up taking second in the team. Avery took 5th, and Riley Fry took 2nd in the singles. So they did.
there you
pretty
go.
decent. Yeah.
She
So it was
doing some
good.
doubles?
The
I mean-
doubles teams took 5th and 8th out of the 16.
Let's be honest. If you're going to drive to Salina, you'd like a little better showing, but that's not bad.
Oh, it was good. There's some good teams up there. Some good players.
Yeah, nice
that are up.
showing, but you'd like a first and a second, or whatever. I mean, you take what you get, but
I would not expect to finish 1st and 2nd. But Robert, if that's what you think it should be, I'm starting to understand Jeff a little bit more.
really,
The more you speak, the more I'm starting to understand Jeff.
It's just now taking hold?
Well, I always thought part of it was just him talking to talk, but it's over and over. So I'm thinking, yeah. So if Jeff goes to play a sport, if he doesn't win, like, did you get locked up
I'm
in
a
your
loser.
room and stuff? Or
Yeah,
just
pretty
get
much. I was
rated on the way home.
Yes.
Is that how it was?
Absolutely.
Now I'm starting to feel bad for the kid. Is
Well,
that what
may-
happened, Robert?
maybe so, but it's certainly not what happened. You do the best you can. All I'm saying is 90 miles up to Salina, good amount of gas, couple meals. And I'm not saying this about your daughter. She's fantastic. I'm saying this, we'd like to finish 1st or 2nd.
Well, who's we in
Well,
that
I'm not
case?
saying it. I'm not
Who drove 80
divulging it.
miles?
Duda did.
Okay, so who's we that would like to finish 1st or 2nd?
I'm just saying as a general.
Well, who wouldn't want to win all the time? But you can't go into these things thinking, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be 1st and 2nd." No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
These things go exactly as I hoped they would.
I know they would, and I know this is what you want. I know you wanted buttons pushed, and you got it.
I
You feel
did.
good. Your weekend is set. Good for you. So happy for you,
Well,
Bob.
my dog seems to enjoy it.
Well, that's all that
She
matters.
seems irritated also.
She does a little
Well,
bit.
she's right over here by me.
She's trying to be like, stop it. That's what she's
That's
doing.
what- that's the
what
message.
she's doing. She's like, pet me and quit thinking. That's exactly what she's doing right now.
Here is what is on tap for the show today. Jim Dunning, the board chair of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, will join us at 2:45 to explain exactly why Duda didn't get in this year.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, he's going to talk about the induction ceremony coming up on the first Sunday of October there in the Kansas Star Casino.
Is he the new Jordan?
He is not. He's the board chairman.
What's Jordan?
Jordan was the executive director.
Okay. Who's the executive director
difference.
now?
There is not, as far as I know, they have not chosen that person. At 3:25, Joanna Chadwick from Byte Magazine will talk about some of the interesting high school games tonight. And at 3:40, for 5 questions, Oz Banks.
Yeah, Oz Banks.
Wichita guy who does what?
He does some podcasting. He's goes to a lot of sporting events. You'll see him out there a lot.
Has over 42,000 Twitter followers. And I know of Oz Banks. He's a supporter of this show. But I don't know that I've met Oz Banks.
You've
Have
probably
you?
seen him out. I don't think I've met him, but I've certainly seen him out and about at local sporting events from time to time.
Well, I look forward to knowing more about Oz.
Yeah, it's a good get today for 5 questions.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Yep.
I'm sure he gets to a lot of local eateries.
Oh, well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. Trying to think of where my wife and I want to go next. We were at the Oasis last night for a cheeseburger.
I was going to say, you probably went for a burger.
And we got there right at the end of happy hour, and it was a madhouse. Then it kind of thinned out, but there were 3 drunks. And I just kept looking at them thinking, that used to be me.
Yeah.
And what a pathetic.
You just had a flashback. 35 years of your life was right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe that's why you're a little
Yeah, but you know what?
on edge today.
You know what? You live it up in your youth, and you have some fun.
How long is your youth?
You cut loose, right? I don't do that anymore.
I know, but how long is your youth?
I think about 55
Okay.
for me.
For you, good job. I am no way. Too much. I can't do
Well,
it.
it wasn't 55. It was early. It was 55. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't out carousing all the time, but you have a good time with your friends. You know, you go hang out and
Why? I have a question.
Here we
As
go.
someone,
let's go down this path.
as someone who's not a drinker, why do you have to drink to have a good time? Or why is that the social? Is it because as men we're afraid of our true feelings? We're only going to really talk when we get blitzed a little bit. Is there some kind of guard that we have up? Are we afraid of vulnerability on some levels?
Yeah, pretty much all that.
Okay, well, then that makes sense.
You drink because, one, it's a camaraderie thing, and you try not to drink to excess. But occasionally, you know, that gets past you a little bit.
Sometimes the runaway is on. You don't even know it sometimes. It's not like a planned thing.
It's just a social activity.
Yeah, I don't get why.
I grew up in bars.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I don't know why.
Because it's fun.
always centered around. Well, I've had plenty of fun without
not as much as I have.
Plenty of it, and I've remembered some of it too, which helps even more.
I remember it.
You go to a movie and you spend $20-$25 on yourself for a couple hours. You go to the bar, you order 3 or 4 drinks, you spend $25. It's the same thing. What's the difference?
It's not.
The show that you're watching is on a screen. The show we have is right here. We're in it.
Why is that? But
That's
you can
more fun.
You can be fun without drinking.
Well,
I'm
for
one of the
sure.
funnest people on earth. Don't drink.
Well, that's fine. I commend you for that. I'm proud of you for that.
No, I'm not trying to
but
say.
What if I do like an occasional?
I'm not trying to say something that you're proud of. I'm trying to understand why it's always that.
Because it's enjoyable.
I don't get it.
It's people have been looking for ways to get high for a long time in society, right?
Okay, but isn't just the activity itself like, you know, we work, we're stressed, we have family life, it's whatever. You have these everyday stresses and feelings and thoughts. Why not just going out with your friends? Why isn't that an escape enough from all that hey, man, tonight's going to be fun. I'm away from all the stuff that gets me on edge, and I'm here with my friends, and let's have a great time. It's the weekend.
I can go out and have 3 or 4 drinks and not be.
Yeah, you don't have to get.
I'm just saying, but why
Not even be
But why does it have to?
drunk or
because it
have a buzz.
I don't.
Then why does it have to be alcohol? Why can't it just?
It could. Some people
You
go.
can
and
go have a Sprite.
Okay, perfect.
Some people do that. It's fine. Some people prefer.
I know
prefer to have beer.
I'm not exactly, and there are probably people up there. Jeff's just I don't care. Drink all you want. I'm just trying to say why that has to be the centerpiece of our social activities. It doesn't make sense to me.
Sometimes I really like the taste of a beer, so I want a beer rather than water. Sometimes I really want a whiskey, so I like the taste of
still have
whiskey.
a craving at times for a red beer, tomato juice. I mean, I have a craving for that. I still like
All those bloody beers.
I still like a Crown and Coke occasionally, but I hardly ever drink anymore. And that's been the case for the most part for the last 10 years or so.
And I'll admit,
or even longer.
For me, doesn't taste good. So that's another part of the whole thing that I don't understand.
Well, let me tell you this: on a warm day, I don't know that there's anything better than a cold beer.
After you
am I right about that?
Cold water
My
does
favorite
just fine.
thing to do after I cut the grass, out there in the heat for 2 hours, I sit in the porch and I have a beer.
But you're having a cold thing of something that is usually warm, wheat, hot bread. Like it's not bread, but you're talking about wheat. Like nobody likes cold bread.
What? What are you
cold wheat?
talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
What kind of idiocy?
Nobody likes cold
where
bread.
did you?
We put butter on it. We toast it.
How did we get to bread?
Yeah, because beer is made of hops and wheat and barley, and we like it cold. It's liquid, you dumb.
I understand that, but it's still liquid wheat.
It's liquid wheat.
It's gross.
Liquid wheat.
Pretty much. Liquid barley, gross.
You sound like you just got dumped off the barley truck.
Maybe I did.
I mean, you sound like a guy that has just never experienced.
I guess I have too much of a sweet tooth. Like, I would prefer, hey, I'll just have an apple juice. I'll have a Coke.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you're doing.
Except that it's warm wheat.
It's disgusting, but it's whatever.
Listen, I would never have called myself a beer drinker.
Me neither.
But I've drank beer. And
I've
the
had
reason
beer
I've done it,
before.
if you want to know the truth, in my youth, I always used to think, I don't really even like beer that much, so if I'm going to drink it, we might as well have a good time.
True.
We might as well.
That's so counterproductive to me. It doesn't make sense.
We might as well, instead of having one or two and sitting here and going, well, I believe the Declaration was, you might as well.
What does that even mean?
You might as well have 6 or 7 and at least get to a point where you're going to laugh and have a good time.
That's fair. You're not that entertaining sober.
Now you turn it personal?
Well, that's basically what you just said.
What do you mean I'm not that entertaining? I do a radio show every day.
And listeners are departing in droves from all I hear.
Is that right?
I don't know. Are they?
You're asking me that ridiculous question?
Just kidding.
You've had a bad segment.
No, I haven't.
And as the opener said, the three-man booth seems to affect you in a way that is not always positive.
I don't think I've had a bad segment at all.
Well,
I think
you've
liquid wheat. That's my.
You've indicated that wheat.
Stupid.
Beef bacon's out for my fantasy team. It's now liquid wheat. I'll be changing.
Well, isn't that what it is?
When I get home. No, I don't believe
there's nothing sweet about it. It's just bitter.
They just take wheat and squeeze it.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Liquid.
There's no sweetness to it. It's just. Ugh.
It's beer. It's its own thing. There's, as I said, if you're hot, if you've been outside and you've worked, and then if you get an ice cold beer,
water,
there's
lemonade.
Nothing better. There's nothing better.
I don't.
No, lemonade too sweet if it's that hot
right.
out there. I don't want nothing that.
I don't want liquid lemon.
Sour. Ugh.
Well, you should try liquid lemon. It's pretty good.
I mean, that's craziness.
After you've been out in the heat, you want liquid lemon.
Lemonade's perfect. What's wrong with lemonade?
Let's get the most sour thing we can.
And then sweeten it up with.
Tell me how.
20
how
pounds
sour counteracts heat.
20 pounds of sugar in there too. Come on.
Or tell me how. Tell me.
Nothing like a cold beer on a hot day.
Well,
nothing.
You're wrong.
Not water. Not
water.
No, not anything. Water's good, but man, a beer on a hot day.
Fantastic.
You guys are losers.
Fantastic.
Oh, now we're losing.
Yeah.
A minute ago it was okay.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Do what you want.
Because you're refusing to see another viewpoint. I'm here to make you think.
What do you mean we're?
And you're a little beef liquid weed. Oh,
well, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's what it is.
Beer is liquid wheat.
Essentially.
Do a Google search for liquid wheat.
Does liquid wheat equal beer?
And if beer comes up, I'll give you $1,000.
How much wheat does beer have?
No.
Just Google search liquid wheat.
No.
Oh, because he knows he's wrong.
Probably. Well, what's a shock top? Wheat. It's got wheat on the label.
Beer has a combination of grains.
Okay, well, isn't wheat not one of them?
Well, so what?
So is it not liquid wheat?
I hope no one from KWCH is listening.
I hope they all are.
Because when you walk in today, the first thing you'll see is a nice pink slip.
Oh, really? They're going to fire me over this.
Well, wouldn't you, Duda? Would you at least think about it?
I wouldn't fire him, but probably have to sit down with the kid and have a chat.
And have a beer?
Over a beer.
Oh, that's what you would probably, that would be the right thing to do. And then you can try it and be like, oh, man, the old man was right. It's hot out. I'm sitting here with my boss outside on the deck, and this beer tastes pretty good. That's all it would take.
Maybe so.
Well, let's get a break in. I'm going to do a Google search.
Well, good,
with the
because
words
you don't have a
liquid
signal
wheat.
down here for anything.
Yeah, I can't get nothing either.
Well, my internet's working.
Well, you never tell us your internet
You
password.
won't share your password.
Well, usually you don't need that. And I'm
trust
certainly
me.
not giving that to you.
I know.
When yes,
we'll
you
take
need
a break,
password.
Max. When we come back, we'll tell you what liquid wheat is, according to
Beer.
Google. Back in a minute.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
We are back. That is Queen, of course, Somebody to Love, the sum of it all, the musical theme of the week. Max Power gone next week, out of the state. I don't know what we're going to do.
What for?
I don't know. I don't delve in. If Max is going to be gone, then he's going to be gone.
Max, what for?
We don't. Max doesn't need to tell you.
He doesn't need to, but I can still ask.
Ask him off the air.
I'm asking
Max
on
and
there.
you aren't that close.
We're pretty close.
Max and me now, that's a tight kinship.
Then
and I
ask
know
him.
you've had dinner with Max.
Yeah, Max and I are tighter than both of you guys.
You've had dinner with Max?
Can't talk about it.
Okay.
869-1240, the IHOP hotline. They've got 4 varieties of new sweet and savory biscuit options at IHOP.
That's real. That's the wheat you want. Those hot biscuits coming out of the oven. It's just good stuff.
You're trying too hard, which is okay, but
I'm not trying at all. How about that?
No, you're trying. No, you're trying.
you're
Sorry.
trying too hard.
You're trying.
But that's okay. You got to do what you can. So yesterday we made our picks. I was almost sure, and Jeff picking BYU to cover the point spread of 8.5 in Lawrence against Kansas. I was shocked by that pick. Not shocked by your pick of BYU. I think Kansas is the real deal. I think they are a potential Big 12 contender. I think they're gonna win this game tomorrow. I don't know that I'll say handily, unless you consider 2 touchdowns to be handily. That's what I predict. I predict 34-20, Kansas.
Well, I can see. I'm not going to be surprised if Kansas win. They should win this game. I think they will win this game. But 8.5 is a lot. It's over a touchdown. I mean, if they're up by 14 late, BYU gets the ball, prevent the win, let them score a late touchdown, get the ball, game's over. I think 8.5. If it had been 3.5, I'd have probably took KU. 8.5. I'm taking the points in that game.
That's a pretty big difference. And by the way, the picks that we made yesterday brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and the official sportsbook partner of KFH. So what would the number have been for you? Not between 3.5 and 8.5.
What would the number have been?
Yeah, because you said you take KU at 3.5.
I'd probably took KU, but for like 1 or 2.
At 3.5.
At 3.5.
So at which point does it switch over to you taking BYU?
So 3.5 was the tipping point for you.
3.5 was probably the tipping point. Yeah.
So you think?
I think they win by a touchdown. I think it's
So
going
then
to be a little
6.5.
bit closer game.
All right, I can live with that.
Before they might be up 11 late and they get a late touchdown, or they could be up 11 and kick a field goal, get to 8.
What's
So
your
that's why I
score
take,
prediction?
That's why I take it. My score prediction in that game is 35-27.
Boy, you got it right on the cusp. What's yours, Jeff?
I was going to go a little bit lower scoring, like 25-17.
Well, then Then why didn't you pick Kansas?
Because it's 8.5.
Yeah, and that's 8.
Yeah.
So then you take BYU, Bob.
So you guys got it that close.
Sure.
1/2 a point.
Yeah.
Well, is that
For
not
8 points.
Is that not
You
covering
have
the
that
spread?
much confidence
Yeah, I think so.
that they're
I don't
going to
think
win
it's-
by 8
You know-
instead of 8.5.
You know what?
Sure.
I'm going I'm going to go down to the Kansas Star, and I'm going to make a bet that Kansas wins by 8. That's what I'm going to do.
All right.
I think it might be up to
Going
9.5 now.
You're going to
Well,
drive
then
to the
I'm
Kansas
gonna
Star.
just because of this conversation. I won't be home tonight, family. So
You're just
that's
going
what-
right to the Kansas
I'm going to
Star.
go right to the Kansas Star. I'm going to bet that. I'm going to have a few beers. And then
spend the night at
if
the
I
Kansas
have
Star.
too many, I'm going to get a hotel room there, and I'll wake up in the morning and go from there.
Well, I hope Dia heard that.
Well, I kind of don't.
By the way, we still got to do this Top Golf thing. It's obviously not happening this weekend. I'm waiting to hear. Are we getting kind of shut out here?
Wait, we actually talked about this.
He's kind of letting it fade away. I can tell.
Are you letting it fade away?
Fade away.
Is this not something that you, your
Maybe
lovely wife, and your 2 darling children?
They love to play.
No, I'm not talking about that. The opportunity to be out with me and Debbie.
Well, we've only invited you to a soccer game for 7 years.
Good point.
Thank you.
When's the next one?
Soccer game?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
What time?
Tomorrow is 4:45.
Oh, God.
Sunday, 4:45.
That's an awful
The
time.
next Saturday, 3:30.
Why can't we just have a 10 a.m. game?
I've got registration for League 42 tomorrow from 11 to 3. Then I want to come home and watch football. No offense.
Look at this. October 1st, I don't even get to watch football. We got a game at noon and 4:45.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Good luck to you.
It'll be awesome.
Where are these games?
At Stryker.
Ah, it'll be fantastic.
It'll be awesome.
What do you think this,
You can go out to
leads
lunch.
to, this dedication to soccer? Is he varsity as a sophomore? Is he an all-league player by his senior year? What do you
I don't
think?
know.
Where do you think we're going?
What does it matter?
I'm curious.
He's having a good time.
He likes to play, so we'll see.
Okay,
how it
well, if
works.
he likes to play, then he's motivated to get
Look,
better.
I'll
Then
tell you
he's
what, when you watch kids from 10 to 12 to 14 to 16, the really good kids at 10, some regress, and the kids catch up. You just don't know. You high school, what? As a freshman, you're what, about 14? Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
14 to 18, that's a big difference.
And he'll be a freshman next year, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it's a fun thing for him. He's undoubtedly a good player. He's been playing a long time. He'll go out for the varsity team at Mays.
He'll probably end up playing
play
the
JV as a freshman.
Absolutely.
That's the normal
the way it
course
goes.
of action.
And then you got 2 years there, so there's a lot that changes. Kids grow, kids don't grow, kids get better. Just wait and see.
Yeah, well, I don't know why Jeff's trying to push it.
I'm just curious.
I just
Like,
told
what do you have in your
I mean,
in your
you started your
imagination?
high school career very well.
Well, you
in
told
baseball.
you wrote a column when I was 5 that I was going to be in the majors. So
I did.
sort
I
of.
said it was my hope or my dream.
Right.
I named you Jeff because it sounded like a big league third baseman.
Right.
Jeff Lutz. It didn't.
I ended my
Let
high
me tell you,
school
it didn't
career.
pan out.
I ended my high school career well.
Again, we're kind
Was I an all-city player? Just tell the story. What happened?
I called a few people, and yes, you were an all-city
No,
player.
seriously. Seriously, is that what happened?
Of course not.
Well, if it is, just say it. It's cool.
No, of course
We're
not.
22 years later.
You were a good player. I thought you might be more than good, and you could have been, and I'll always think that. You didn't quite have the what's the word I'm
drive.
looking?
I'm guessing. I'm throwing
You
it out.
didn't
I
ha-
wasn't around.
He got bored with baseball, and that's probably my fault because he played too many games.
I don't think I got bored. I just felt a little, and I'm not blaming you, but you know how I like to play, and you didn't like me playing that way. So and my coach in Ohio really hated me playing that way. So that soured me on it a little bit. And
well, you could have played that way if you'd had more. Well, Jeff, we're going to hitting practice. Oh, great! I'm ready. Let's go. Instead
I said I'm hitting 430. I don't need your hitting practice.
Well, there you go. That's why you're sitting in this. That's why you're sitting in this basement.
That'll do it.
Probably.
I mean, and that's not the only reason. I mean, I don't know that you had the ability to do anything beyond.
We had a really
college baseball, but that's the way it is.
We had a really, really good high school summer team. Not one player had a standout college career. Not even a standout college career, much less getting drafted or anything like that.
Because it's not easy.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Brad Smith played pretty well at Pittsburgh State.
Right, Pittsburgh State, and that not shaking a stick at it, but that's Division II baseball.
So what?
Okay, but
he played well. We had some other guys. One of our pitchers played Division I.
Derek Herbig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you get to Division I, you've done something, haven't you?
I'm talking about a career that you just that was amazing.
Well, I'm
or
not
even
saying you would have had
was really
wow,
good.
That's an amazing
So it
career.
was, even if I had taken every step to becoming whatever you
You'd
thought
have
I
played
was.
longer.
I doubt.
I'll put it at that.
I should have played longer.
Well, but you didn't.
Nobody wanted me.
Wonder why?
I don't know why. Did you make calls on that too?
Because I'm hitting 430 and I don't need batting practice. That's probably why.
Well, I was ahead of my time in many ways.
Yes, you were. No doubt about it.
That reminds me of my old coach from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, who told us a story similar to that. He was a goaltender, and his first game was in New York. And I can't remember the coach's name, but very well-known coach. And he came in and looked at him and said, "Are you ready?" And we called him Mooner. Mooner goes, "When that clock hits 7 o'clock, I'll be ready. Don't worry about it until then." That was the last time he ever played in the show. And he was a smart guy. He ended up coaching the Chicago Blackhawks for 3 years after. But that was a story he used to tell us. He goes, so sometimes maybe just keep your mouth shut.
Well, I saw that too when I was in Atlanta. Jeremy Hermida, who was a big-time prospect and ended up becoming nothing. It's like my cautionary tale. Some guy goes, you want to look at this picture? You want to go over some video? It goes, fastball, slider. What do I need to know? And that's like, okay, well, you're not ever going to be anything then. And he wasn't. Did not fulfill the potential.
I'll use a kid that I coached for 10 years. His name's Gael in League 42. And he went along and was a good player throughout his youth and continued to be a good player and had some, sometimes you got to try to really pull them and push them. And sometimes the attitude can get a little frayed. But at the end of the day, this is a kid who developed a deep passion for the game of baseball and now is pursuing it at a level that I think will get him into the college ranks at some point. And that's exciting. That's exciting to me. So
yeah, we all love
see if
Gael.
he does that. He's going to be a good player.
Impossible not to root for and love Gael.
Well, I think
want him to do everything.
I think the sky's the limit for him. And you know me, I like to look at things like that and kind of play it out how I think things will go. If he puts in the work, and that cannot be stressed enough, if he puts in the work, he's got a chance.
Well, in sports, that's the big thing, and your attitude is huge. And I know that from playing and when I was coaching, and we would be between a couple guys to pick, and you talk about a guy with his attitude, well, he's not really, doesn't want to do this. You talk about another guy, he's all in, he's committed, he works hard. Which guy do you take? You take that guy. And we did it all the time. Even a guy that's a little more talented. And that's the biggest thing. You got to have a good attitude. And it's not just a good attitude for work and stuff, but it's how you treat your teammates. It's how you are off the field, on the field. It all comes down to it. If you ever want your kid to go to college and play, these are things that are more important than extreme talent. Because extreme talent, if you have the extreme talent, you're going to have a chance and they'll put up with you. But what I don't think people understand is the extreme talent That's one in every 250,000.
Right.
Because there's
many players out there. There are kids out there who are going to make it just based on talent.
Absolutely, they will.
And a lot of those people get to the highest levels. But if you combine that talent with a work ethic and a desire, then you're talking about potential stardom and iconic.
Well, and
status.
the thing with that is that if you're just a good kid, you're going to have way more opportunity. If you're not in that exceptional tier, but you're in that next tier, coaches want those players.
Sure.
And they want those kind of kids. They don't want to have to worry about what this kid is doing away from the ball field.
Jim Dunning joins us. He is the board president of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, their premier event coming up a week from Sunday at the Kansas Star Casino, their 2023 induction ceremony. Mr. Dunning, hello.
Good afternoon.
Happy to have you with us. So it's always an exciting time of the year for the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. You got some extremely noteworthy inductees who will be honored at the ceremony at the Kansas Star Casino. Tell us how things have gone.
Well, it was more exciting and more interesting. Before when I didn't have so much to do. I don't know if you.
Yeah,
knew,
now you're kind of running the whole shebang.
Well, it all started about 10, 11 years ago at a random lunch, and here I am. But no, I've had great help. Jeff Bolig and Lawrence has taken on a lot of the publications of things. Linda Hargrove has taken on the education event that we have the morning after at the Kansas Star Casino, where we have some area schools that have been invited. They bring kids in, and some of our inductees then will spend some time talking to each of the groups about how they got where they are and leadership skills and things like that. So I've had a lot of help. But I didn't realize everything that Jordan was doing until I tried to fill his shoes, and his feet are certainly bigger than mine. So
you're talking about Jordan Poland, who recently stepped down as the CEO of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. Jeff?
Yeah, I was just you mentioned some other events, and I know the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame induction is more than just the ceremony, right? So take us through kind of the weekend, getting people in town, getting them kind of in the community, and I know you got the golf tournament the following day as well.
Yes, thanks. We start off on Sunday, October 1st is the induction ceremony, and I'll meet all the inductees there early afternoon. The event at the Kansas Star actually starts at 4:30 with the social hour, and then at 5:25 we get people headed into where we'll have the ceremony and dinner is served. At 5:25 we have the invocation. At 5:30 dinner is served, and at 6 o'clock the program begins. And then, depending on speeches and things like that, we'll probably be done about 8:30 or 9, somewhere in there. And then Monday morning, October 2nd, we get up and at 8:30, the schools, we have the leadership field trip or whatever you want to call it, for the schools that will come up and have a chance to visit with the recent inductees and hear stories and ask questions. And like I say, Linda Hargrove and others are taking that on. And then I will scoot off to Teradyne, and we're having our golf tournament again. There's still time to sign up for that. Having a golf tournament at Teradyne, check-in registration, driving range and all that is 11 o'clock, and then we'll have a shotgun start at noon. And we'll have, box lunch there and dinner afterwards. And so kind of a full day and a half, 2 days there of activities, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to honor the people that have been inducted or being inducted, and this weekend's about them, and we're trying to do our best to make it as special as we can.
12 inductees going into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. This next question comes from someone we hope to see inducted into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame relatively soon. His name is Jason Duda. Here you go, dudes. What do you have?
Thanks, Bob.
You got him to blush a little bit. That's awesome.
Jim doesn't mind.
Jim, I'm just curious. Obviously you talked about all the stuff that goes on this weekend, but take us through the year that you guys have to go through to set all this up, to get the names, to get the nominees, and then to pick the guys. Give us just a little rundown of what happens, because a lot of people hear, okay, the induction, so they figure it's a Sunday, Monday thing, which we all know that is not how it works.
You're right. Thank you. We have a good board. We have several new members. Some of us have been appointed by the governor, and some are elected at large. And we meet 6 times a year. But so we've got the event coming up here in October. We'll circle back and kind of review things in November. But after the induction ceremony is concluded, then nominations are open for the following year, for the following class. And anybody can make that nomination. You just need to go to our website, kshof.org. And I believe there's a place there where you can nominate somebody. And so you fill out the form and send it in. And then previously, Jordan would get all those, and he would check on the eligibility. And the eligibility rules are there on the website as well. But he would go through and make sure that people met the qualifications and were eligible. And then pretty much then they're on the ballot. Last year's ballot, I think, was just shy of 50. And we've had some pushback about that, as, that's too big, it's too many, and things like that. And I'm sure we'll have discussions about that going forward, especially with a lot of new board members. But anyway, that's how the nomination process works. And then we put the ballot together in March. It goes out the 1st of April, and it's out for 30 days. Voting ends at the end of April. Our May board meeting, we look at the results from the votes that have come in, and as a board, pick the final class, which is usually the top vote getters. Some side notes kinds of things, like if you have one is to be nominated, you're supposed to be retired from your sport. Another is that if you can't have relatives on the board or be on the board and be on the ballot. And so there's one there we've talked about. We have a board member, and that their spouse should certainly qualify for the Sports Hall of Fame, but they're not interested in that, not worried about that. So, but anyway, that's the process. And then in May we pick the class, and then we as a board. Actually, the funnest part of it this year was I actually got to make some of those calls and let people know. And, like when I talked to Brent and Cheese and Sarah Lundgren, Walkup, that's a fun call to make. They're surprised and they're grateful. And that's a fun part of what we do. And so then from that point, we're gathering information to put together stories. We're tracking down pictures that to be put on plaques. We're selling ads. We're selling tables and those kinds of things to get into, September board meeting to wrap things up. And here we are 10 days or so away.
All right. Well, it's going to be a fun ceremony. Lots of local folks going into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. Some of the names Jim mentioned, Brent Kimnitz. And by the way, you won't get out of there at 9:00 with Kimnitz giving his speech.
True. But it'll be awesome.
You might need a tent. Kim Runtved of the Wings, Ted Power, of course, from Abilene, Sarah Lundgren Walkup. Is Ricky Ross going in?
We were not able to get a hold of Ricky. Well, we didn't have great communication with him, and we take our share of the responsibility for that as well. Jordan was able to get a hold of him, and they had a conversation on the phone. I believe they were driving. And so he knows he's been elected, but the rules that we have currently are that you must be present to be inducted. And there have been an exception or two in the past, but for the most part, and we still have a couple of folks that have been voted in. In fact, we have one in this year's class, and when we notified them that they had been elected, they got back to us and said job was in the way and they couldn't be here this weekend. So they've been carried over to next year. So we talked as a board. We're not sure what's happening with Mr. Ross, and we don't, this is an honor, and we want to make it a proud moment. And so we're going to push him over. We've decided to push him to next year as well. Hopefully we can get in touch with him and encourage him to be there and get the accolades that he very much deserves.
Well, that's disappointing. I've tried tried to get with Ricky myself, so we'll keep after it, I guess. Jim,
Yeah,
we really appreciate your time. Go ahead.
You're very welcome. And I was going to say, I appreciate your efforts. I know you reached out to him. I know some people that knew him at South High have tried as well. And I don't know, he must be a busy guy, but that's the way it goes. And we wish him well. And hopefully we get to see him next year.
And before I do let you go, is there any movement on finding a replacement for Jordan Poland to head the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame?
We have put that off until after the induction ceremony. Didn't think it was a great time to do all that together. And these are also not only the big things we do, but it's a major fundraiser for the organization. So we'll have a better idea of where we are financially, and then we'll put some ideas together of where we want to go, some strategic planning kinds of things. But yes, we do plan to replace that position, certainly.
All right, Jim. Good to talk with you. Best of luck.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Talk to you soon. Jim Dunning, board president of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. We'll take a break. We got an hour left, boys and girls. You get another hour of this.
Can't wait, I'm sure.
Tune back in. We're going to break now, but lots to come.
For 25 years, Stamps.com has made mailing and shipping easy. All you need is a computer and printer. Imagine mailing and shipping right from your desk, anytime. No traffic, no waiting, no hassle. Plus, Stamps.com gives you discounts up to 84%. Sign up for Stamps.com today. Use code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, plus postage and a digital scale. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.